Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada's elevation to Krishna consciousness was first published by the BBT in 1973 in Prabhupada's presence. The 104-page work of 6 chapters is a brilliant example of Srila Prabhupada's powerful, direct preaching and his transcendentally ornamental literary style. In the first chapter, Choosing Human and Animal Lives, Prabhupada, he cites the 4 defects of the conditioned souls and concludes by indicating that serious students of the Vedic literature should accept authority. Then Prabhupada quotes from Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Imam vivashvate jogam praktavam aham abhyayam. In the beginning, I explained spoke this transcendental science to Vivashvan. Vivashvan manave praha, Vivashvan spoke it to Manu, Manu ikshvakave bravit. Manu instructed Ikshvaku, the king of the humanity. In this way, evam parampara praptam, the transcendental science is received through the disciplic succession. Imam raja sayo vidu, and the kings, saintly kings, understood it in that way. Sa kalena hamahata, but due to the powerful influence of time, Jaganashta Parantapa, the science has been lost. And so today, Sa evayam maya teja jogaprokta paratana, I'm again explaining this supreme science of the relationship of the self with the soul. Today told by me to you, Bhakto shime shakachati rahasham hi etadutamam, because you're my devotee and friend, you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Prabhupada concludes by explaining that the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are meant for the totality of human society. All societies can take advantage of Vedic knowledge to perfect their human lives. Then Prabhupada goes on to give a comparison of the material and spiritual worlds. He explains that the material world is a partial manifestation of the complete creation of God. The larger portion of God's creation is found in the spiritual world of the Vaikuntha. And then he quotes from Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat Bhavo Nyo Bhyakto Bhyaktat Sanatanaha Yasa Sarveshu Bhuteshu Nashachuna Vinashati, that there is another eternal nature which is transcendental to the manifest and non-manifest matter. It is supreme, it is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. In chapter 2, Hard Struggle for Existence, Prabhupada again directly presents the powerful conclusions of Bhagavad Gita in such a eye-opening manner. Abrava bhuvanaloka puna abartino jana mamupeta tukunteya puna janmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. One who attains my abode, however, never takes birth again. Prabhupada writes, human life by nature is full of suffering, and the lower life forms are even more miserable. Any sane man with properly discriminating senses can understand that life in the material world is full of miseries, and that no one is free from the actions and reactions of such miseries. This is not a pessimistic view of life, but is an actual fact which we should all not be blind to. Once again, Prabhupada's direct and powerful preaching and awakening the conditioned souls who are in forgetfulness of their actual relationship with the Lord. In chapter 3, Toward a Peaceful Society, Prabhupada, he's relating and explaining the relevance of the teachings of Vedic literature and Bhagavad Gita to the circumstances we face in the modern world. Again, he quotes from Gita 14 chapter, Sarvayoni Shukuntaya Murtaya Shambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahajoni Aham Bija Pradapitaha. It should be understood that all species of life are son of Kunti and made possible by birth in the material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Prabhupada elaborates, there is an erroneous theory current that only human beings have souls and that all other entities do not. But we understand from Vedic authority that there are 8,400,000 species of bodies, including plants and trees, and that they all have souls. Otherwise, they would not be able to develop and grow. In this verse, Sri Krishna claims that all living entities, regardless of the forms they take in the material world, are his sons, and that they are related to him as a son is related to his father. Prabhupada further elaborates, the modern society is in dire need of persons or Brahmins, in dire need of intellectual persons or Brahmins who can broadcast real spiritual knowledge all over the world. That is the absolute necessity for a society which is working hard simply to exploit nature. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote to Prabhupada in response to Prabhupada's inquiry just shortly before his Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's departure in 1935 that, how can I serve you? I'm not a sannyasi or a brahmachari. How can I serve you? And Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote a very important and very significant and very amazing response to Srila Prabhupada just 2 weeks after that. I have great hope that you can become a very wonderful English preacher, and you can impart the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to people in general, to philosophers, and to religionists. And so we see here in Prabhupada's writing, he's writing for all classes of man. He's writing for the intellectuals, he's writing for religionists, and he's also writing for the common man. And in that way, the effect of Prabhupada's books has been seen all over the world, and so many devotees of Krishna have been produced just by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada explains that if people try to understand this Krishna consciousness movement scientifically and philosophically, with their best knowledge and judgment, and try to cooperate, there will be peace all over the world. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Such a powerful book and so directly relevant for the issues that we're facing in the modern world. Prabhupada continues, in essence, the very method is very simple. We need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and follow the regulative principles mentioned before. By following the regulative principles, we'll be avoiding the 4 pillars of sinful life, and by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we'll be associating with God constantly, and there will be peace among all classes of men. In chapter 4, Knowing Krishna as He Is, Prabhupada, he quotes from Sri Brahma Samhita. Our prayers should be directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and none else. Therefore, we pray with Brahma. Prabhupada quotes, Chintamani Prakara Shadmasha Kalpa Vriksha Lakshabriteshu Shuravi Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasham Brahma Shebyamanam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Prabhupada explains here, Krishna is called the original person, Adi Purusham. We are all persons. Our father is a person, and therefore we are persons. If we trace our father's back, we will find that he also was a person, and that his father was a person, and so on, all the way back to Lord Brahma, who was the first created person in the universe. Then we will also find that Lord Brahma's father, Vishnu, is also a person. Everyone is a person, and Krishna is the supreme person. In chapter 5, Knowing Krishna's Energies, Prabhupada is focusing on the experience of Krishna manifesting his Virat Rupa, universal form, to Arjuna whilst present on the chariot in response to Arjuna's request. And then in the concluding section of the 10th chapter, Krishna is explaining, Otaba bahunaitena kingyatena tavarjuna pistabyam idam kritsnam ekang shenastito jagat. What need is there, Arjuna, of all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself I pervade and support these entire universes. Prabhupada elaborates, this material world is existing on one plenary portion of Krishna. If Krishna didn't enter the universe, it could not exist. Similarly, unless the spirit soul, which is a fragmental portion of Krishna, enters this body, the body cannot exist. As soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately becomes useless. When Krishna enters into matter, matter has value. Once again, Prabhupada brings the eternal wisdom of the Vedic literature directly into the forefront of the modern circumstances. Prabhupada's elaborating that now a United Nations has been constructed to help end war, but war is going on in Vietnam, in Egypt, in Pakistan, and in other places, just as we are experiencing in the current times. War in international field, and the whole of the world is affected by it. No one wants a third world war, but it seems imminent. Very prophetic words from Srila Prabhupada. It's not possible to send a fire brigade, a few men with buckets of water to extinguish a great fire in the forest. Now, Prabhupada, he refers to Srila Vishnu Chakrabarti Thakur's Gurvastikam prayers, and he's explaining to extinguish a roaring fire in the forest, there must be volumes of water. In other words, there must be an arrangement that is beyond human endeavor. When there is a merciful cloud over the forest fire, the cloud bursts, rain pours down in torrents, and the blazing fire is immediately extinguished. As a cloud collects water from the ocean, similarly, the spiritual master collects water from Krishna's ocean of mercy and pours it over the blazing fire of material existence. Words which so very wonderfully describe Srila Prabhupada's coming to this world. And by his producing and distributing of transcendental literature, the blazing fire of material existence, which we're suffering from in this material world, has been extinguished in so many individual cases. In the final chapter, chapter 6, Taking to Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada quotes from the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyachi mam namaskaru. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. Mami vaya shashiyuk dvaivam. In this way, being completely absorbed in me, atmanam matprayana, he will achieve me. Prabhupada elaborates. In this age especially, there is a general decay in the consciousness of the masses of people. A few people remember that there is a God, but for the most part, people are forgetting him, and therefore they cannot be happy. People are thinking that God is dead, or that we have no obligation to God, or that there is no God. This sort of thinking will never make for happiness. When civilization is godless or atheistic, as it is today, God or his representative comes to remind people of their relationship with the Supreme Consciousness, just as Srila Prabhupada is so powerfully doing in elevation to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada continues, today people have forgotten their relationship with God, but this incarnation of Krishna in the form of his holy names, this chanting of Hare Krishna, will deliver all the people from the world from their forgetfulness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that if we chant or associate with the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, we will reach the highest perfectional stage of life. We highly recommend Srila Prabhupada's elevation to Krishna consciousness as a book for reading during the Booksada Basis week. In fact, any time you read Elevation to Krishna Conscious, you'll be enlightened and inspired in your practice of Krishna consciousness. As Srila Sanatana Goswami heard from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was inquiring about the purpose of life and how to achieve it, Mahaprabhu explained that Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Korara Odoi, that on the basis of hearing, primarily by hearing, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, one's heart becomes purified. Koraya Udoi, and one's dormant love of Krishna is again awakened. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.